Welcome back to a quick chat in the Cadillac. My name is SG, and I like to explore the simplicity of complexity. So if you don't know, this is my show, and I'm gonna break it down for you real and quick. Today's topic at hand involves a phrase that I used as the title of an EP I dropped last year. Shameless plug. It's called Let My Haters Die of Thirst, because the message for today is to let your haters die of thirst. What does that mean? I shall explain. You see, there is only one reason to be a hater, unless you just enjoy being a hater, but even people who enjoy being a hater enjoy it for a reason. Attention, validation, engagement with the hate. The number one purpose of hate is to spread hate. Hate that exists in a box, hate that exists in confinement will die because there is no purpose for it. It's no longer infectious. Hate is like a virus. Viruses don't have long lifespans. At least that's what I believe. I'm not a scientist, but viruses or bacteria, whatever the case, don't have long lifespans. So if it's isolated, it will perish. If it cannot reproduce, it shall perish, just like any other living thing on this fucking planet. And so, you got to starve your haters. You have to dehydrate your haters from your attention, from your time, from your energy. And when you do so, they become thirsty. We all know somebody who's thirsty, whether they're thirsty because they need some fucking water or they're thirsty because they love the hose. But those who are thirsty shall continue to thirst in the presence of those who quench. I don't think that's a quote or nothing. I just made that shit up. But I'm trying to tell y'all, let your haters die of thirst. Let them hate from outside of the club. The reason why you let them hate from outside of the club, you don't allow it to affect your energy. You don't engage with it. You don't reward that behavior with your attention. Is because attention is the ultimate currency, especially in today's day and age. It's the one thing you can monetize without having to put forth the effort of anything other than spreading your opinion. And I recognize that explaining that to you could potentially, in some strange far-off land, be dangerous to the premise of this show. However, I'm still giving you the real shit because I want you to be able to understand. Because I ain't selfish. It's very commonly said across the internet that if you have haters, you're probably doing something right. Okay? And as nice as that phrase is and as true as it is, that does not mean you have to engage with them. Okay, you can, to each their own, but that doesn't mean you have to. In fact, you probably shouldn't, because those people are looking for a reaction. They're looking for a way to gain your attention, and the best way they know how is to interact with you in a manner that triggers you. It pulls on your self-esteem. It makes you feel as though you need to respond because these claims, these things, these comments, these opinions are hurtful or untrue. Maybe they are true. However, they're not doing it to be productive. It's not a form of constructive criticism. People are using hate to spread hate. And if they can use their hate to incite your hate, they could even use your hate to paint you as a hateful person when they were the original hater. They were the OG hater. But you have to let them starve. You have to let them thirst to the point where their body is just, shriveled up. They're just, every time they cough, dust comes out. You see a cloud. That's what you got to do to your haters. Okay, it's very simple. If they cannot gain your attention, then there is no point in hating on you. And sometimes people will still continue to do it, even past the point of thirst and dehydration and starvation of attention, energy, and time. But those very same people typically run dry of their own wells far before they get to the point where they realize, oh shit, the reason shit ain't blooming in my life is I'm trying to piss on everyone else's garden while they're watering their flowers. And then they'll look back and realize, oh shit, this whole time I was drinking water so I could piss on my neighbor's flowers, my garden has died. And now they're thirsty, their whole neighborhood smells like piss, and their garden's dead. You a shitty farmer. And this is by far the most effective way to deal with hate. Now, social media has tricked us in many, many ways. But one of the most detrimental ways it's tricked us is by repeating this pattern. Okay, the pattern is, in order for you to benefit from haters, you have to address them. You have to address them. You always got to address them. You have to address apology statements, and you have to always be in response to people who feel negatively about you. And though sometimes a good apology is well-founded and cannot hurt you, there are other times where people is just fucking hating on you, and you should never apologize to a hater because they hated on you. Unless you're doing it sarcastically, in which case do you. Again, that's still feeding the engagement. However, that's the trick. That's the deception. We're feeding into the negative energy because social media has taught us through a cycle, repeating over time from fucking PR teams and positioning squads telling people, you have to respond to the hate. Fuck the hate. We don't respond to that shit. We respond to positivity on this side. All right, so let thirst be thirst. If you quench the thirst, guess who doesn't have water anymore? You. So don't stop giving your water to people who drink all their water so they can piss on your goddamn garden. That's some bullshit. And excuse my French, I may have to wash my mouth out with soap after this one, but I have a passion. I have a passion for hate. You understand? I have a passion for hate because I used to be A+ hater in every form and fashion. In day-to-day life, it didn't matter. I was an A+ hater for no reason other than my own insecurity. But once I confronted that, once I observed why I was behaving in such a haterade manner, I understood there is no value in hate. Okay, the people who they build entire businesses, or they build entire cycles, they build entire relationships off hate. They're poorly founded. Okay, it's a foundation that's just waiting to crumble. When the earthquake hits, boom, the foundation is gone, and now nothing is left. Nothing is left but you and your own haterade ass self. So let them starve of thirst. Refuse to acknowledge your haters. Refuse them. People who have constructive criticism for you can be helpful. I'm not saying that you never do anything wrong, but people who are here purposefully just to tear you down in favor of gaining your attention and entertaining others who have hate in their heart in some form or fashion, which, by the way, is most people. Even the nicest person you know may have a little bit of hate in their heart in one way or another. Okay, so I'm not putting people down for being human, but what I am doing is telling you that the hate shit don't fly. It's not fly, and it don't fly. Have you ever noticed that in a circle of haters, fulfillment is not present? Have you ever noticed in a circle of haters that comparison is a necessity? You have to compare. But comparison is the thief of joy, you say? Absolutely. So what does that mean? In a circle of haters, not only is fulfillment gone, and comparison is replacing fulfillment as a form of necessity. There is no happiness. It's just people being shitty and then upset that their lives are shitty. Well, your life wouldn't be shitty if you wasn't so damn shitty. Let them die of thirst. When they die of thirst, they could be reborn like I was. You know, as a hater, I died of thirst. You understand what that means? I was hating so damn much, I hated my life away. And then I came back, reborn. I said, fuck the hate, I gotta let it go. The only thing I hate now is the version of me that thought it was okay to hate then. I love that version of myself. But I'm saying that as an expression to tell you I moved past it. Because hating is not at this level. Hating is at a level that precedes this, right? It's before this. You want to get to this level, you got to stop being a fucking hater. Truth be told, I think it would be simple addition, right? A plus A equals double A. A plus hate equals fucking nothing. Hate ain't even a fucking, a variable. You understand? Don't factor into the equation. The only thing hate can do is create more hate. So don't let that intention to spread hate become an infectious disease of which you are now diagnosed. Tell the hate to go F itself in the booty hole with a 6-foot splintered broomstick. And you go on about your day and make the progress that you need to. And don't feed the hate. Let it starve. Smithereen. Let it obliterate itself into dust.